Hello guys, welcome to another lesson. Today we'll look at arrays. What are arrays? Arrays are is the list of same type of objects. So, so first of all, why we need arrays? Suppose you want to store a number of integers in some variable. So for that you need to create int a, then you need to create int b and so on. So like that. So suppose and it how many variables you will create that you don't know. In those scenarios, arrays are very helpful. So what we can do, we can simply create one integer array. So if it is like that, integer array, and we'll call it numbers and equal to new int array of size 3. So basically what does it mean? So basically this means that we have created one variable which will contain 3 integer values. So now how to insert values into them? So suppose now we'll write numbers, numbers, and then arrays are index based. So what are indexes? Indexes depend on what is the position of those elements. So suppose in this array of numbers we have 3 empty positions. So indexes start with 0. So that means there will be one position of 0, then there will be numbers, control C, and control D. So there will be one position and there will be the second position, that means the third position. So basically we'll assign 1, we'll assign 2, and we'll assign 3 over here. So what does it mean? It means that on the first position, whatever the first empty place is there, we are putting this one value inside that. Whatever the second or the index, where the index is 1, we are putting the 2, and where the third, we are putting this value as 3. So any value we can put here. Suppose I'll change the value to 57 or something else like that, we can change. Now if we want to access these values again, how to do that? Basically it should work as same as a normal integer. So okay, I'll also give one same example as a normal integer. So int number, we'll call it other number, space in between, other number equal to, we'll call it 5. Okay. So now how to use this? So let's use it. Let's simply will do a console dot write line, and simply will type that number, other number. So basically this will print our this value 5 in our console. So if we just go ahead and run that, we'll see what happens. So .NET run, and we are seeing that number 5 is here, not an issue. Same way we can print our arrays also. So if we just comment this, and we'll write another console.write line, not required to comment, we'll just delete this, we just to save space. And so we'll do console.write line, and suppose we want to write this number to 322 23 over here. So what we'll do, we'll just simply mention the numbers and its index. So it will have the index of 2. So like this. So again if we go and run this thing, and then we should see the number 323 printed. So this way we can use arrays. There, so this is one integer array. Arrays can be of different type. So we can have a string array also. So let's create a string array. Array for string equal to new string array of 2. So we can store strings here. Like that, the same way we'll store strings, strings of 0 equal to, call it hello, and strings of 1, call it world, world, same like that. So now if we go ahead and print these two lines, we call it console.writeLine will print both. So strings of 0 plus strings, strings of 1. So if we now run this code, we should see the hello world also printed in our screen. So let's try it out. As you can see, we are able to do the hello world thing. Another feature of arrays is that it is strongly typed. What does that mean? That means that in an integer array, I cannot store a string variable. So suppose if I do like this and if I want to try this, the compiler will throw me error that cannot implicitly convert string to int. That means you cannot store string value into an integer array. Same with the vice versa is there. So I cannot just store some random number into a string array. It also cannot, it will show the other way around. So this is one of the features of array. Only problem with array is that, like in real time scenario, you don't know how many places you need to, like how long your array should be. So in that scenario, what happens is that we don't know, and after we have declared one size of the array, we cannot like increase more of it. And suppose, and one other thing is there, suppose if we try, so for this thing there are only 3 spaces available. So what will happen if I try to insert at a fourth place? Let's check it. Numbers, and we'll just simply copy it, paste it, and we'll just change 3. So what will happen? So if I go and build this, or if I go and run this, what should happen? So see, if we do that, and we get an error. So system out of range exception. Index to outside the bounds of an array. So that means that whatever the array we created that didn't have this fourth position. That's why it's throwing the error. But it is not a syntactical error, and so this will errors will come at runtime. So this is one of the drawbacks of the array. And in later videos, we'll look at lists and why it is much more preferred to use a list instead of arrays. But arrays is very important, and we'll see some example of it, how we can iterate through an elements of an array. So suppose I'll just delete this string array or a thing. uh, we'll look into loops in a better way sometime later. For now, for this purpose, we'll use a for each loop. So for each, and if we go for each int, because it is an integer array, I in numbers. So what it will do, it will, so basically will print all the numbers what are there, and so we'll do a console.write, we'll just simply cut it, and we'll paste it here, and we'll simply just change to I. Wrong. So now if we run this code, what we should see this these 3 numbers printed one by one after other. So if we just hit .NET run, and we see these 3 numbers printed by one by one. So this is the feature of array. We can iterate through each and every element, and we can do whatever we want. So this is the same for arrays. We can do the same for string arrays and other types of arrays also. And future videos will look at lists, okay, and functions, and we'll also take a look into these loops like for each and other what are the loops are available. Till now, bye bye. Thank you for listening.